China demands that Japan adhere to the four-point consensus between China and Japan, respect China's territorial sovereignty, not interfere with the Chinese Coast Guard's patrol and law enforcement, and not take any actions that could lead to an escalation of the situation. The Chinese government has consistently and will continue to lawfully protect the safety of foreign citizens in China. The Diaoyu Islands and the affiliated islands are inherent territories of China. It is rightful and legitimate for Chinese Coast Guard ships to patrol and enforce the law in Chinese territorial waters. China does not accept Japan's unreasonable representations, has rejected them on the spot, and has made counter-representations. China demands that Japan adhere to the four-point consensus between China and Japan, respect China's territorial sovereignty, not interfere with the Chinese Coast Guard's patrol and law enforcement, and not take any actions that could lead to an escalation of the situation. The Chinese government has consistently and will continue to lawfully protect the safety of foreign citizens in China.
This morning, Liu Jinsong, Director General of the Department of Asian Affairs of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, held consultations in Beijing with Imai Masaki, Director General of the Asian and Oceanian Affairs Bureau of the Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs. During the consultations, the Chinese side once again lodged a stern representation with the Japanese side regarding the erroneous remarks about China made by Japanese Prime Minister Takaichi Sanae. Pointed out that Takashi's fallacy seriously violates international law and the basic norms of international relations, severely undermines the post-war international order, seriously contravenes the One China principle and the spirit of the four political documents between China and Japan, fundamentally damages the political foundation of China-Japan relations, and its nature and impact are extremely adverse, arousing public indignation and condemnation from the Chinese people. The Chinese side solemnly urges the Japanese side to retract the erroneous remarks, stop creating incidents on China-related issues, and take concrete actions to correct mistakes and rectify, in order to maintain the political foundation of China-Japan relations. The statements made by this American ambassador are purely politically motivated performances, contrary to the identity and duties of a diplomat. The US-Japan alliance is a product of the Cold War and should not target third parties, nor should it wantonly interfere in other countries' internal affairs or harm other countries' core interests. The Potsdam Declaration clearly stipulated that Japan is prohibited from rearming, and Japan's pacifist constitution also established the principle of exclusive self-defense. However, what is alarming is that in recent years, Japan has significantly adjusted its security policy, increased its defense budget annually, relaxed restrictions on arms exports, sought to develop offensive weapons, and is attempting to abandon the three non-nuclear principles. Japanese right-wing forces are striving to break free from the constraints of the peace constitution, moving further down the path of military expansion. 80 years ago, Japanese militarism launched a war of aggression, bringing great disaster to Asia and the world. Forgetting war leads to danger, and being warlike leads to destruction. The lessons of history must not be forgotten, distorted, or erased. 80 years later, today, we will never allow Japanese militarism to revive, never allow anyone to challenge the post-war international order, and never allow world peace and stability to be disrupted again. The Japanese side should earnestly comply with the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations and the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations and facilitate the normal performance of duties by Chinese embassies and consulates in Japan. I want to emphasize that China supports the Security Council in taking all necessary actions to promote a lasting ceasefire, alleviate the humanitarian disaster, and initiate post-war reconstruction. The US draft resolution is vague on key issues regarding post-war arrangements in Gaza and does not fully reflect important principles such as the two-state solution for Palestine and Israel, which differs from China's consistent stance. Therefore, China did not vote in favor. First, this is an internal affair of Bangladesh. China has always pursued a good neighborly and friendly policy towards all the people of Bangladesh, sincerely hoping for Bangladesh to achieve unity and stable development.
I want to emphasize that the East Turkestan Islamic Movement is a terrorist organization designated by China in accordance with the United Nations Security Council. Combating the East Turkestan Islamic Movement is a core concern of China's counterterrorism efforts. The Syrian side has promised not to allow any entity to use Syrian territory to engage in activities that harm China's security, sovereignty and interests. Both China and Syria have agreed to strengthen coordination and cooperation in the fields of counter-terrorism and security to combat all forms of terrorism.